welcome to the show, sir. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Managed to watch most of the second period?
I've seen a minute.
So we'll have to update you on what's going on.
Yeah, so I heard on the radio that on the power play Lekkerimäki almost scored. So I'm thinking the fan base is super pumped. I know we're winning 2-1. I know that they just cheap shotted Sherwood at the end of the period, which is a bunch of malarkey. He's got a big smile on his face because he's getting them all riled up. So tell me about the game. I do apologize that I haven't seen it. I have had the most busy night. I have not I barely eaten dinner. It's been insane. So
chaos. Yeah, so let's update you then because Canucks came out of the first intermission. They had a power play right to start the game. Ended up scoring on the power play. Beautiful pass to right to PD. 26th birthday, gets his birthday goal, which is great to see.
Woo!
Which is nice because we've been seeing him kind of take the steady incline in his play, playing a little physical, which was good to see. And then the Canucks scored again. It's funny because it looked like they had scored, but unfortunately, it looked like Heinen had actually slashed a stick right in front. One of those plays where they barely chop it, sticks explodes, and it took away Desharnais' second career goal. So Desharnais actually scored. But because he got his stick slashed, because Heinen slashed the stick right in front, they actually said no goal because it was a penalty. But Pius Suter as well, scoring from Miller and Brandstrom. Brandstrom with his third assist of the year, too, playing in the NHL, so that's good to see. The start to period was great. Things kind of evened out after that. But so far, I mean, the start to the game was really great. Canucks had some good foot speed. And have just continued on. They're out shooting Calgary now 26-16. Looking really good. I have a question for you because we just got the news today. Brock Boeser looks like he's going to be out indefinitely. What? Did you hear that?
No. Listen. This is my pet peeve. Okay? So this absolutely asinine what's going on with the Vancouver Canucks and it being Fort Knox on what's actually happening. And so they interview, sorry, I'm taking this over just for a second to do a little rant. They're sitting there and they're like, hey, Rick Tocchet, are we ever going to hear anything about Brock Boeser? And then he's like, well, he's day to day and I haven't talked to him today. And it's like, stop doing that. Just tell us. It's like, it's an upper body. No, it's a head injury. We're not idiots. Okay, so now tell me, sorry, that was my rant.
No, I agree with you. It's ridiculous, right? Like I was watching your stream the other night and you're talking about it. And like NFL, you always get the injury reports. You know exactly what the problem is. You have a good timeline about when they're going to be back. In the NHL, it's all cloak and daggers. Like why can the NHL get away with this, especially with the amount that they're pushing the gambling? Because I think that's one of the reasons the NFL has to be so up to date on what 100%. Their injuries are, because the gambling industry is huge in the NFL. The NHL is getting huge in it too now. Do you think that's going to change the way that the NHL reports their injuries because they are getting more heavily into the gambling?
It has to be, because every third commercial is some kind of sports betting. And people are not going to put their money down on it unless they get the information. This is ridiculous. An upper body injury when you clearly saw a hip injury, or a lower body injury. Well, what is it? Like, so are you going to put money down on Pettersson becoming MVP when he's got tendonitis from end of January last year? Like, what is going on? You have to know. So I do think that this is good news that they're actually saying out indefinitely, because when it's a head injury, it is literally day to day or month to month, and you can't determine that. And then just stop saying that it's an upper body injury. Just say that he's got a concussion or a contusion or whatever the diagnosis is. People are, I think, maybe Russell, you can, like, why is it that they're so afraid where the NFL's not? And so say it's a knee injury. Do you think someone in the NFL's actually going after their knee? If they are, they're not getting re-injured like that. in hockey, are they more vicious? Like, is someone going to take a stick to the knee that's injured? Is someone going to punch Brock Boeser in the head because, or it's like, or we won't do that because it was an upper body injury? Like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm wondering with you. Like, I don't get, are hockey players just way meaner? You know what I mean?
I think it's that old school mentality, because if you were to ask me that same question going back, like even pre-lockout, going all the way back to like the early 2000s and the 90s, especially the 90s were vicious. If you were to ask me that question back then, 100% Canucks are hockey players are vicious. And if they know you got a weak spot, they're going to do everything they can to take advantage of that. Nowadays, everything's on video. There's 100 different camera angles. And if you know a guy is going to be hurt, and he's dealing with an E or a shoulder or something like that, and you specifically go and attack that part of that body, it's 100%. It's going to be intent to injure. You're going to get a suspension. But then again, intent to injure, look at what happened with Jeannot, right? He only got the 3 games, right? So I think they cracked down on it, right?
And so what do you think about that going next level? So Scott Stevens back in the day cross-checks Paul Kariya and basically ends his career. Bertuzzi drives his head by accident into the ground. The body weight breaks his neck. He's done. Like, where is this? I think it's this mentality, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And a lot of people identify that and say, you know what? If Brock Boeser's out 2 months, Jeannot should be out 2 months. Now, I don't know if it should be that harsh, to be honest with you, but like some of these more serious ones, you start wondering, because like, what if Brock never comes back? Steve Moore didn't come back. Now, granted, Todd Bertuzzi was never the same after that. He was never the same. I think the emotional thing, I don't think he honestly meant to do that. Now, Steve Moore, I just wish he would have dropped the gloves and it would have been okay. But I'm not saying he's a wimp or whatever, but like, it was all awful what happened there. Like, Naslund was never the same after that hit that Steve Moore hit on him. So there's no like retribution, and it's like, oh, you get 3 games, which I thought was a good suspension. I was happy with that. It was at least 3, but man, maybe you shouldn't say it's 3. You should say it's starting with 3. It'll go to 10. If he misses 10 games, then you miss 10 games. I mean, that hurts the wallet. That hurts the team. I think that would really discredit. I don't know if it's like months and months, then you take him out, but like, it's more significant. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I actually, while you're talking there, that's because I discussed a little bit with Dustin during the first intermission, my guy, Paragolfer Pro, and that's something we talked about, specifically the Bertuzzi incident, right? Because if we went by, you injure a person, you're out as long as the guy is injured out. Bertuzzi never plays another game, right? Which it's not going to work. You got the NHLPA involved. But what I would like is, let's say, okay, we're starting with 3 games, and at the end of the 3 games, we're going to have a review. If Brock Boeser's still hurt, you're going to get more games. Because there's no way to know, especially with a head injury, how long that guy's going to be out. So maybe that's what it should be. It's like 3 power play or 3 game suspension to start. At the end of the 3 games, we'll review, we'll have a look, and we'll see what happens. Then maybe he ends up getting, 2 or 3 more games, depending on where Brock Boeser's at as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I've got a great thing going here. Maybe
they
should call me and talk to me about it because it just doesn't seem enough, and especially when it's serious. Like when McSorley hit Brashear with a stick, that's serious stuff.
Yeah.
And there's crazy things that go on in hockey games, and they really need to crack down on it, because Jeannot had the distance, and I don't know if he had the intention to hit him shoulder to face, but you had enough time to decide what you were going to do. Like, it's one thing, it's where Zadorov last year leveled Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that guy's tall, you're short. He's never done that before. And, but this guy, like, same size. I don't know. It's just like, better, bro. It's just like you go in and it's supposed to say stop on the back of your jersey, and then you run him into the boards. It's like, everyone knows that. The Susie one against McDavid, that was ugly. I don't think that was his intention, but Zadorov hit him from behind and he whiplash and got the cross check to the face. That could have ended McDavid's career. And we need to get rid of all of that in the NHL. And but if it's not going to be like rock'em sock'em hockey back in the day, they're going to use their sticks, you know. And so I'm not, I don't mind the enforcer a little bit. I think it was a little bit out of control with the the Probert days and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, those were the glory days at the same time.
Well, I mean, going back to the Jeannot hit, like it when you talk about people's intentions, a lot of time you talk about what their eyes are. So you ask someone a question, where they look is what they're doing. When I'm talking about hockey players a lot, it's all about looking at their feet and their hips. So with Jeannot, when he was skating towards, like he said, he had all that space skating towards Brock Boeser. And then you see just before he gets close enough to hit Boeser, he actually kind of sidesteps slightly. So then he's going to be hitting Brock Boeser at a different angle. And that's where he ends up with the shoulder connecting with the head. So, and that's where I would say you got to review what is their intentions. And a lot of the time you can tell what a hockey player's intentions are by their legs and their hips. And on that one, it made it very clear that rather than hitting him right on the side, which he could have, instead he got to the front of him and ended up going shoulder to the chin. And now Brock Boeser's out for who knows how long, right?
So tell me about this game. Has it been physical?
Yeah, lots of hits. Even Lekkerimäki has 2 hits already so far in the game.
What?
Yeah. So I mean, picture young Petey, right? He's not hitting people to knock them out of the game. He's hitting people to separate from the puck. And I think Lekkerimäki's up to two hits already, and looking very similar to a young Pettersson separating guys from the puck. So it's been interesting to see. Lekkerimäki's stats were hit, giveaway, hit, giveaway. So he started the game, actually getting in there physically. And for a guy who's a little bit on the slender side, it was interesting to see, but you don't have to be a big guy in hockey to separate someone from the puck. So he was hitting guys in the right spot to separate them from the puck. So it was good to see physicality from a young guy stepping into his very first NHL game. You didn't expect that, did you? He's
already played 9 minutes and 45 seconds. That's a lot.
They also bumped him up to the first power play unit because when they were practicing, they had him on the second unit. But tonight, he started both the Canucks power plays on the first power play unit. So that was good to see as well.
Okay, here's another pet peeve about the power play unit. Not that we can't do anything on the first, but why can't the second power play unit do anything? It's like, I get that a lot of the talented guys are on that top line, but you're NHL players who have space. How in the world can you not generate a decent shot? Now, we can say that for the first power play unit too. It seems like tonight they've had a much better power play working, but has the second power play unit done a thing yet?
Tonight, they really haven't had a lot of chance. They haven't gotten many minutes so far. But the idea I always had for a second power play unit for me was, who's your best line? Because your first power play unit is your loaded up all-star line. Your second power play unit should be, who is your best line tonight? And that's like the carrot to give to the players when they're doing well. So all of a sudden, if your third line of Sherwood, Heinen, and Bluger are your best line so far tonight, throw them on the power play as a second unit, give them 30 to 45 seconds, see if they can get something. And that might motivate these players in the course of the rest of the game, which I thought would be interesting. So rather than being like, this is our second unit, it's just like, here, boys, you're doing well. Go out and have some fun with a less man on the ice to play against. What do you think about that?
It sounds good in theory. It's just that now really it only means your third or fourth line can do it, because your first power play unit is loaded with first and second line guys. And I think it would be hard to figure out in the way of not overworking some players. They're out there for the full 2 minutes. But I do love the idea. I love the idea of having a full line saying, you guys already know your chemistry. Like, imagine if the second power play unit was like Joshua, Garland, and Bluger. It's like, well, just put Bluger in front of the net, let those other guys work their magic, and then have like Hronek shooting it from the point, or whoever, maybe it's DeBrusque that's there. I mean, that would be fantastic. I don't know. I like what you're saying. I'm just trying to process in my mind. How did that work?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're very right with the top 2 lines obviously making up the majority of that. But I mean, even like tonight, Brandstrom's looked really, really solid out there. Hasn't gotten I don't think he's seen much power play time so far this year. Hronek is the kind of the man on that second unit. But then maybe you're looking at that, maybe rather than going with the one defenseman on the second unit, you go with the two defensemen, and that way you can just run one of your lines, right? Because if you get Hronek and Brandstrom out there, it's like Hronek and Hughes Jr. essentially at this point, because he's been looking really good so far tonight.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm looking for, I mean, we have to win this game tonight. I cannot stand the Flames. And then with how many games have they played within how many nights? Like, isn't it
a lot?
Isn't it a lot?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, so there's no excuse that we should not win this game. Like, if Vancouver loses this game, I'm telling you, in my live stream, my post-game show, I am going to blow a gasket if we lose this game tonight, because we need these 2 points.
Can you give the stream a sneak preview of your stream tonight? What are we looking at tonight?
So tonight, obviously, we're going to be reviewing the game, talking again about so now that Lankinen's in goal, we're going to be talking about probably Shilov's going to play next game. Also, Joshua's going to be playing next game. We're going to be talking about the Brock Boeser thing as well. So there's a lot I mean, right now there's so much to talk about. And then the other thing is, like, not panicking, because we still have Demko returning. Brock Boeser's going to return. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. We're on 100. I think what did they say? We're on 107, 108 point pace without all those guys. So I think we're going to be all right.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Rev Trev, thanks so much for stopping by the stream tonight. Make sure everyone pop in. What time are you going live?
I'm going to try to go right after. So I'm going to watch the third period and then hit live button. So
perfect. Awesome. Rev Trev, thanks for stopping by. I'll be stopping by your stream tonight.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Go Canucks, go.
Nothing is perfect.